Hello friends, I'm Narendra Verma once again before you. As you know very well, in business studies we are dealing with the fifth chapter, that is organizing for class 12 CBSE syllabus. Okay, so in previous videos we have covered a lot more part. Okay, in today's session we are going to talk about organizational structure, meaning, definition and its types. Okay, functional structure, meaning, suitability, advantages and disadvantages. Divisional structure, meaning, suitability, advantages and disadvantages, and at last difference between functional and divisional structure. Right, today we will completely finish this organizational structure. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's start. So let's start with this meaning of organizational structure. See, organizational structure is what? It is a kind of framework in the organization. It is also known as the organization chart. Okay, in big corporate house, if you go visit, you will find they have proper noting of this and they maintain a chart as well, right? Otherwise, you can Google and you can find out the organization chart of various corporate houses. Okay, one chart I have prepared just to make you understand. Let's have a look here. See, this is a structure. Okay, means there is one managing director and he will be subordinated by 4 assistants. Okay, and under him there are 4 departments. Purchase department is handled by purchase manager, sales department is handled by sales manager, production department is handled by production manager, and finance department is handled by finance manager. Right, now these managers are also being subordinated by assistant managers. Okay, you can name him assistant purchase manager. Okay, this is another assistant purchase manager too. Maybe possible the area is divided. Okay, here as well. Now this assistant manager can also have subordinates. Okay, so it depends on the organization. Okay, how many functions they want to develop they can have. I have taken the example of 4. They can develop multiple functions as per the requirement. Similarly, I have limited it up to here. They can go beyond that as well. It depends on the size and the volume of the work of the organization. The larger area they want to cover, the larger, the bigger organization chart they have to maintain. Only then the effective control can be there. So what this organization structure does, it denotes the pattern of the relationship. Okay, we can see here that purchase manager is the subordinate of managing director. Okay, and assistant purchase manager is subordinate of this purchase manager. Okay, so the relationship between superior and subordinate is defined due to this. All right, and as I told you, it denotes the pattern of the relationships of positions and jobs, right? Okay, it provides basis for human, other physical resources and financial resources. Okay, only then the coordination and control can be established in the organization. Okay, we can see here that these all department, because I have taken the example of a manufacturing enterprise, so all these departments need to have coordination between each other. Only then the sole aim of the organization can be accomplished, right? Okay, and this coordination will be established just because of this system. Okay, when one system is there, only then the things can go in a proper manner, right? Means these many assistant managers will report to him only, right? They will neither go here nor they will directly go there. Understood? So this is what the reporting relationship. Okay, it has been fixed. Okay, and he will report to him only. If he has to ask anything, then he will directly contact him, not any of these or not any of these which I have mentioned in the downside. Understand? Okay, so this makes the job easier. Okay, and this clarifies the duties of one individual pretty well. Okay, people are well aware of their duties, they are aware of their reporting relationship. Okay, so a kind of pattern is established which they are well aware of, and that supports the organization to accomplish its objectives. All right. So in short, if we need to define the organizational structure, we can say the organizational structure is a framework within which managerial and other operational tasks of the organizations work, right? And the size of the organizational structure largely depends on span of management. I just write down one term here. So span of management, this is important term. Sometimes in your examination it is asked for 1 mark question. What do you understand by span of management? What does it refer to, etc. Okay, the span of management is what? Like I told you that the size of the organizational structure depends on the span of management. Now we need to understand the definition of span of management. Span of management means number of subordinate a superior can effectively manage. Okay, I would like to show you how. Okay, here if we see one purchase manager is managing 4 subordinates. Okay, so up to this, these all form the span of management. One superior can manage effectively 4 subordinates. That is what span of management. Understood? Similarly, one assistant manager is effectively managing 3 subordinates. So that is separately a span of management. Okay. So it depends on span of management that how larger and bigger the organizational structure will be. Because the span of management determines the levels of management in the organizational structure. Right? How many levels of the managers will be there and how many managers will be appointed for that. Understood? Once again, I would like to define it. A span of management means number of subordinates a superior can effectively manage. Understood? Now let's move on to its type. We have understood the meaning, definition, we have discussed the term span of management also here. Now we are moving towards the types of organizational structure. So types of organizational structure. In your syllabus CBSE 12, there are 2 types of organizational structure, functional and divisional. Very first we need to understand functional, as by the name it is very much clear that on the basis of function. Right? When similar nature of jobs are grouped under one department, that is known as functional organization. Right? On the requirement of functions, various departments can be formed. Okay? Another, divisional. How divisional is different from functional? Under divisional, what happens? The separation is done on the basis of the products, right? If an organization is dealing in the multiple products, then for separate products, they will maintain separate business unit or division. Okay, now let's consider it with example. Fine. For functional, we can have production department, marketing department, sales department. Okay, and these departments further can be divided into other sections. Okay. In divisional structure, we see that this is for type of one product, electronics, another home goods, and another yummy snacks. So these are kinds of different products because the electronics are having the separate management, separate system. So it is a separate business unit. Now this separate division will have production, marketing, sales individual, right? Similarly, home goods is not having relation with these electronic gadgets. Okay, so that is why the separate business unit has been made for that, and that unit can also have production, marketing, sales. Okay. Similarly, yummy snacks do not have relation with all these 2. Separate division is maintained for that, and that too can have production, marketing, and sales. That is what the difference. In short, if I say that every divisional structure includes functional structure, then I am not wrong, right? Okay, divisional structure is having broader area in comparison to functional structure. We'll discuss about it later on when we have discussion on the difference between the two. Okay, right now I'm just giving the idea. Okay, I would like to remind you one more thing. When I was discussing with you the process of organizing, then we discussed 4 steps. And what was the second step? Departmentalization or grouping of the work, right? So under departmentalization, we learn 3 bases. That departmentalization is done on 3 bases. I would like to write down here once again: functions, products, and territory, right? You must be remembering that. Okay, so the same, because when we define organizing, it includes everything. Okay, now under departmentalization, these two are coming, right? But if we remove this portion, that comes to functional structure. Okay, if we remove this portion, products and territory, that belongs to divisional structure. Understood? These both are the part of departmentalization. Okay, because in both the separation of the unit is happening. But difference is that it is happening in a single product, but on the separate activities and similar functions. Okay, here it is happening on the basis of the separate products as well as the separate activities. Understood the point? Now let's have discussion about functional structure in detail. Then we'll talk about divisional structure also in detail, right? So before I proceed further regarding the functional structure, I would like to have discussion a bit more about it. Okay, let me tell you that functional structure is applied in the businesses where the work happens in forms of departments, right? Okay, departments are very much necessary. Okay, means the jobs related to production are grouped under one department, that is known as production department. Already we have discussed it so far. Okay, similarly the jobs related to the marketing will be put under the marketing department. Okay, and there will be one in charge of the department and other subordinates need to report to him. Okay, and further these departments can be divided into sections, right? So it is all about the functional structure. Now let's have discussion about its suitability, advantages and disadvantages, right? Okay, let me tell you one more thing, whether it is a functional structure or divisional structure, these both are suitable to the large types of organization. Small organizations cannot handle it because they do not have the separate departments. Okay, so that is what the specialty of functional structure. That if you are having very big size of the organization, okay, but dealing in the single product only, then functional structure is suggested. Okay, another suitability is what? One, large organization. Another, diversified activities. Okay, in the type of job you are dealing with, that needs diversified activities, means various activities are there. Okay, I would like to give the example of the service industry. Service industries has various diversified activities, so they can have the multiple departments. Similarly, manufacturing is having various kind of activities, but the trading concern do not have various activities, so they will not be having that kind of functional structure. Okay, without that also they can work, there is no problem. Understood the point? Okay, so diversified activities are there. In case of that, it is suitable. Large organization, it is suitable. And in case a task requires high degree of specialization, that is important one. Okay, functional structure basically focuses on specialization of activities. Okay, so if in organization there are such kind of tasks which really need specialization, okay, to move ahead, then the functional structure is suggested, right? So there are 3 points for suitability, okay, and there are 6 points for advantages. We'll have discussion about these one by one. Right now I'm just reading them out. Functional specialization, ease in training, avoids duplication, improves efficiency, effective control and coordination, proper attention. Similarly, we have disadvantages as well. We'll have discussion about these as well one by one. Functional empire, conflict of interest, inflexibility, difficulty in coordination, difficult to hold accountable. Okay, actually what happens, there is a problem Because the same kind of bifurcation we need to study about the divisional structure as well. So it becomes complicated and complex task to remember everything separately. Sometimes the students get confused, right? Okay, so just to remove your confusion, I have made a single code to remember all these things together, right? So let's have discussion about the code. This is what Ludo Star. Ludo is a game, you all know that. Okay, Ludo Star. Fine. So this L stands for large and this D stands for diversified activities, right? Okay, and that S stands for specialization. You can see here, this specialization is again repeated here. That's why I have taken the similar term star. Okay, Ludo Star. Now let's connect it. Star throws dice. We know that in the game of Ludo, dice is thrown. Okay, star throws dice efficiently and conspires attacks, right? Okay, when it needs to beat the pieces of the another opponent. Okay, so S again stands for specialization, T stands for training, D stands for duplication, E stands for efficiency, and C stands for control and coordination, and A stands for attention, right? Ludo Star, large organization, diversified activity, specialization. The star throws dice efficiently and conspires attacks. Functional specialization, ease in training, avoids duplication, improves efficiency, effective control and coordination, and proper attention. Now let's talk about this. Okay, enemies. Now, the opponent term. Enemies cannot incapacitate coordinated ambush. Ambush is the another synonym of attack. I have changed because similar term is not there. I have used the other term here, that's why. Okay, so enemies cannot incapacitate the coordinated ambush, right? Okay, so E stands for empire, okay, and the C stands for conflict of interest, I stands for inflexibility, okay, and that C stands for coordination, and that A stands for accountable. Understood? Ludo Star, star throws dice efficiently and conspires attacks. Enemies cannot incapacitate coordinated ambush. Okay, by this code you can remember all the points together: suitability, advantages and disadvantages of functional structure. Now let's have discussion about the advantages and disadvantages one by one. So very first, let's talk about the functional specialization. See, if an enterprise is adopting functional structure, then what are the advantages? Advantages are that the organization becomes specialized in particular functions. For example, if the organization is having 4 departments, like one production, one marketing, one finance, and another sales. Okay, now the people who are working under these departments, these have become specialized in these activities. Why? Because again and again they are performing the same kind of task, and every time they are trying to perform better and better. They are applying the innovative ways, and by doing it for a continuous period they become expert and specialized in comparison to other people who are not performing this activity again and again. Understood the point? Okay, so this is the advantage. In particular functions, the organization becomes, or the employees become, a specialist. Okay, now let's move on to another point, another advantage: ease in training. Okay, now it becomes very easy to provide trainings because the similar skills need to be trained only. Means the people who are working under purchase department, they need to be given training regarding the purchase activities, not regarding the marketing activities, not the marketing tax they will be learning. Understood the point? So providing training from this point of view becomes easier and the matter becomes more concise. Understood? Now, another advantage is what? Avoids duplication. Yes, because already the jobs are clear, similar jobs have been put into different departments. Now nobody is confused about their role, so there is no duplication of efforts. There is the clarity about it. Okay, and the people know what they need to perform and they perform only that job, right? One person is not engaged in performing the two nature of activities. He is engaged only in performing the single nature activity. Understood? Another advantage is what? Improves efficiency. Obviously, when the experienced and expertise people are working in the single department again and again, by performing the various activities, they become specialized, effective and efficient. Okay, so overall their expertise, knowledge, experience, that increases what? Efficiency of the department, of their own, okay, as well as of the organization. Okay, next, effective control and coordination. So when the work is happening divided among the departments, then it becomes easy to put effective control. The controlling the things becomes effectively very much easy, and coordination can also be established very easily, because we know very well that in an organization the coordination is must, okay, between the departments. Only then it can function well. But when the duties are clear, reporting relationships are clear, then the coordination establishment becomes easier. Understood? Next, proper attention. As all the jobs have been divided into different departments, so it becomes easy to have attention of all the departments. Okay, if you talk about the managing director or the head of the company, then they can easily focus on the activities. Okay, so every department gets the due attention from the upper authorities. So that is what the advantage. So it was about the advantages, but it does have some disadvantages as well. So now let's talk about that. So very first disadvantage is what? Functional empire. Empire is what? A limited area. Okay, actually what happens when the job is done, being divided into different departments, the separate departments are giving the separate objectives. Okay, and what happened to people who are involved in that particular department, they just focus on the objectives of their department only and the activities related to their department only. They give more importance to their department only, and at the cost of the objective of the overall organization, sometimes they give importance only to the department. So that is not acceptable. In that case, the organization has to suffer. So that is known as the functional empire, where the departmental activities and objectives become more important for the employees who are working under it. Okay, and sometimes they supersede the interest of the organization only for the sake of the interest of the department. So that should not be done. Understood? So that is the disadvantage of that, because this is a kind of problem being noticed. Okay, another disadvantage can be the conflict of interest. Conflict means just to have collision, okay, of thoughts. Collision, I do not mean about having proper fight, means argument, okay, hot talk. So conflict of interest. Obviously, say for example, there are 4 departments working in the organization, so every department is trying its level best to move ahead, and sometimes just in the race they just leave their another department behind, and their interests start conflicting between each other. Okay, sometimes the coordination is not supported, cooperation is not given by particular department to the other department, just because of the thought that if I support these department people, then this department will go ahead and my department will lag behind. So that kind of problem is also there. Okay, another one, inflexibility. Like we discussed the point of training here, so this becomes negative over here. How? Okay, because the training is provided related to one nature of job, then the employees who get the training, they do not get a chance to perform other activities. They are not flexible with the other activities. They are inflexible because they can perform only that activity. Okay, if I put the person in the marketing who was earlier working in the purchase department, then he'll not be able to work there because he is not trained for that. So that is what the problem. Okay, another difficulty in coordination. Like I told you that when the interest of 2 or more departments conflict with each other, then the problem of coordination happens. So there is the problem of the coordination when you have various departments. Okay, another, difficult to hold accountable. See, as this is there within the organization, so if the organization is not able to achieve its objective overall, now who will be accountable for that? Sales department, production department, marketing department, who will be accountable. So it is very much difficult to fix accountability. Okay, we cannot say that all the time sales department is responsible. Sales department will show that I did my level best, but the production department was having the problem. They did not supply the material in time. Production department will simply say that the purchase department was having the problem. They did not supply the material so that we can produce well. Okay, and the purchase department can put the things on the finance department that we did not get the money. That is why we could not purchase. So there will be very much difficulty to fix the accountability that who is responsible for that. Okay, so this point is being compared to the divisional structure. When we discuss that, I'll explain you. Okay. So it was all about the functional structure. We discussed the suitability, advantages and disadvantages. It was all about that. Now let's move on to divisional structure in the same manner. So divisional structure. Before I proceed further regarding divisional structure, I would like to have some more discussion about divisional structure. See, divisional structure is applied where the business works in separate units, right? Okay, when the business is there at very large level and dealing with the multiple products, then the organization wishes to have information on the basis of the product line. Right, they just make the separate products as profit center. Okay, and for that they have to make separate units. Okay, so and all these units are headed by the individual ones. Okay, and they are responsible to promote and to run their division on their own on the basis of their knowledge, experience. Okay, because they are solely responsible to produce profit, because all these divisions are known as separate profit centers. Okay, I would like to give an example. If one organization is dealing in the garments, footwear and handbags, so they will be maintaining separate 3 divisions, one for garments, another for footwears and the another one for handbags. Okay, and these 3 can have the multiple functions. Okay, means the garments division may have the proper departmentalization like production, finance, marketing, sale. Similarly, other 2 also can have same kind of departments. Okay, but these separate units and divisions will be headed by the individual one. They will be authorized to take decision related to the promotion of that particular unit, and they are also accountable for producing the profit, okay, or incurring the loss, right? So this is all about the divisional structure. Now let's have discussion about its suitability, advantages and disadvantages. Okay, it is suitable in 3 cases. 1, when the organization is dealing in the large variety of products, right? Variety of products. When it is having many products, okay, then divisional structure is suggested. Another, when it is planning to add more products. Sometimes it happens the organization is having 1 or 2 products, but they are planning to add some more products. Okay, or they just incorporate only with this vision that in future they will be producing more and more products. So in that case also they can maintain divisional structure. Okay, another one, when profit and loss to be determined of each product line. Like I told you that every business unit is treated as separate profit center. Okay, so when it is done that on the basis of the product line they need to determine the profit and losses, then also divisional structure is suggested, right? So it is about the suitability. Now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages. Right now I'm just reading out the points. Later on I'll have discussion about the advantages and disadvantages points one by one. Okay. Product specialization, greater accountability, flexibility, expansion and growth. And if we see the disadvantages, costly, ignore organizational interest and departmental conflicts. Okay, there is the problem again to remember all these points together. So I have prepared a separate code for this as well, right? Let's have a look. For the suitability, various products profit. This V stands for varieties, this P stands for products and this P stands for profit. Intentionally I just pick the keyword so that you can remember the entire point by remembering the single word. Okay, so various products profit. Various products they profit the system, right? And system according to flexible expansion. So that S stands for specialization, A stands for accountability, F stands for flexibility, and E stands for expansion. So system, various products profit system according to flexible expansion, right? Now, but it is costing interesting conflicts, okay? So in all, you can remember the divisional one, because if you have various products for the profit sake in the organization, definitely these are going to profit the system according to flexible expansion, but these are going to create a lot of interesting conflicts. Okay, so this C stands for costly, I stands for interest, and C stands for conflicts. So various products profit system according to flexible expansion, costing, interesting, conflicts. If you remember this, then you can remember the entire suitability advantages and disadvantages, right? I can understand it is a bit difficult to remember this, but it is easier to remember all these. Okay, now it's up to you. So now let's have discussion about the advantages and disadvantages in detail one by one. So let's start with advantages. Product specialization. See, here in the divisional structure, what happens, the people who are working in the one division related to only one product, they become specialized about that particular product, right? They know all the skills, they know how to perform better in that particular division, they can take decision pretty well, so they become specialized in handling the activities or operation related to that particular product line, right? So in functional we had functional specialization, but here the product specialization is there. Okay, another advantage is what? Greater accountability. Like I told you that the separate divisions or business units are treated as separate profit centers. So here it is the greater accountability, right? If I am the divisional manager of one division and which is responsible for producing one type of product, then I am solely responsible, I am holding more accountability, I am more responsible, so it becomes easy to fix the accountability and responsibility. Okay, another one, flexibility. Fine. So as the entire division is working related to one product but in various functions, fine, so there is the flexibility. They can plan, they can take decision accordingly, they can apply all creativity and innovative ideas can be developed, right? So there is a greater flexibility as well. Another, expansion and growth. In case of divisional structure, it is very much easy to expand, diversify or grow for an organization. Why? Because they can expand their business, they can open the separate division for another product without disturbing the other operations, because these are separately being managed, right? So it supports the expansion and growth. So this is all about the advantages. Now let's talk about the disadvantages. Costly. In comparison to functional structure, it is costly. Why? Because for separate divisions, we are maintaining the separate functions as well. Okay, if the organization is dealing in the 3 product lines, so 3 of the product lines will be having the separate functions like purchase department, sales department, marketing department, finance department, etc. Understood? So it becomes, you can say, costly to maintain all these, and there is the duplication of the activities as well. Okay, ignore organizational interest. The problem which was there in the functional structure, same continues here, but here is there on the larger level. Okay, say for example, there are 3 divisional managers. One is responsible for one kind of product, another is responsible for second kind of product, and third is responsible for third kind of product. Okay, like we can take the example of garments, footwears and handwear. Okay, now 3 of them thinking about their division only. Okay, they are not thinking about the organization. They are thinking about their divisional objectives. Okay, they will try their level best to put their division ahead, and for that sometimes they supersede the interest of the overall organization. So that should not happen. So that is what the problem being noticed here. Another, departmental conflicts. The same point continues here. from the functional structure. There also the departmental conflicts was there. Here also the departmental conflicts is there, but different types of, like one division. I just gave the example of garment. Say for example, the garment division was given the total fund from the top level management. Okay, now the distribution of funds has to be done in the various departments. Now the departments start fighting over this, that who should be getting more funds. So proper allocation of funds creates a problem, or other activities may create the problem. Okay, so departmental conflicts carry on here as well. So it was all about the suitability, advantages and disadvantages of divisional structure, and there is a proper code to remember this: various products profit system according to flexible expansion, costing, interesting, conflicts, right? So it was all about that. Now let's compare functional structure with divisional structure. Okay, so let's understand the difference between functional structure and divisional structure. Okay, we'll be comparing these two on the basis of all these 7 points of differences. Very first is the meaning. So here you can write down the definition of the two. Okay, functional structure means grouping of the similar nature of activities under one department. Divisional structure means grouping the diversified activities, separating the business units. Okay, so it is about the meaning. Now formation. It is formed due to the various functions, right? And it is formed due to the various product line, right? Because as it is done on the basis of the products. Okay, specialization, it leads to what? Functional specialization. Okay, and it leads to what? Product specialization. So if you remember all the advantages and disadvantages of these two, then it becomes very much easy to compare these, right? The same points are being repeated. Responsibility, here it is very much difficult to fix the responsibility as per the departmental system, but here it is easier to fix the responsibility, right? Now managerial development, here managerial development is limited, okay, but here there is wider scope for the managerial development, okay, because various activities under one management, one division are happening on the basis of the autonomy, right? So limited, wider, fine. Cost involved, that is, you can say, less expensive. Why? Because there is no duplication of the activities, but here there is the duplication of the activity in the separate division. We need to maintain the separate functional departments. Okay, so it is more expensive or costly. Okay, coordination, if you see on the basis of the products, say for example there is a company which is dealing in the multiple products, so for that functional structure is not suggested, because in that case there will be a problem. Okay, so in multi-product company problem will be, right? Okay, but here the problem will not be there for the multi-product company, because the separate business units are there, divisions are there, so no problem. It is easy to establish coordination, right? So it was all about the functional and divisional structure. We have compared it. Overall, today we have learned, or we can say literally swept out, the organizational structure part of this chapter. Okay, so it was all about this. We are ending it here. Very soon I'll be meeting you in the another video with the another concept. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.